Hello, hello, hello. I don't know what's going on here today, Linda, but everything's going absolutely crackers here today. I've got things. See, I don't know what's. I'm not sure.
Hey, Mike, I can't keep up with techie stuff. I am so not techie stuff. I don't know how to do anything. So thank God you're on the helm.
See,
You're the one running the ship.
yeah,
Because if I was there, I'd be going,
yeah,
abort,
I can't hear you
save
now.
yourselves.
So,
I am so not techie.
yeah, this is crazy today. This is
So thank God you're on the helm. You're the one. I'm actually hearing myself in the 10-second delay that's on the live site, Mike.
right.
Okay, just so you know, I can hear myself. It's a 10-second delay.
I can hear you 3 times and myself.
I'm actually hearing myself. Some people can only tolerate one of me, darling.
Well, as soon as I just load this onto your website, I'm shutting Facebook down. You know.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, darling, it's so funny, isn't it? I laugh at what we try to do, Mike. But the thing is, guys, that I want you all to remember, Mike and I, we do have some skills and training and experience to our names. We're not electricians, we're not technicians, we're not techie at all. But the reason why we do this is not for the technical effects or the oh gosh, I can hear myself on reverb now. But the reason why we do this because it's something that we're passionate about, what we love doing, and most of all, what we are wanting to get out there to other people, for that hope, that belief, and that trust in all this paranormal stuff. Okay? We're passionate about, what we love doing, and most of all, right. So what we this is interesting, Mike. Can you hear that?
Oh, God help us! This is now just flipped a page, and I've gone on to another page. We'll get this show up and running pretty soon. I'm going to have to go to another page or something here. I'm not sure what's happening today, but either we're going through an ascension process or a dark night of the soul. I'm not sure which one yet. But
and I'm just sitting back as usual. Here you go, Mike. Look, hang on. Come over. Here you go. I'll put on my fairy wings, okay? And I'll try and make some magic happen for us.
Right. Well, I think now.
Oh, look, I've even got red fairy wings. Oh, my gosh.
I think I've got this onto your website now, onto your Facebook page. So
Yay!
I'm going to close this window down and we can actually start the damn show now. So after, I don't know with this stuff, for some reason, when I opened up all the software to get this show going, all the configuration was gone. So I'm blaming you, Linda, for this.
Oh, don't blame me. I'm so innocent. I'm so pure. I don't do anything wrong anyway.
So anyway, it's Tracy's.
Hey, darling, I'm the first to say.
It's Tracy's birthday.
Yep,
a lovely
Tracy's
start to my new birthday. There you are.
No.
Yep.
Oh,
super. And
Tracy, thank you for the tarot. Oh, you're beautiful, Tracy. As I was just saying, Mike and I don't do this for ourselves. We do it for those who want to learn and grow. Find out the truth about who they are, who they're going to be in the future, to make this world a better place. Yeah. There's so many people out there now blaming and accusing, and they're all not looking into themselves and realizing how they can make their own futures better for them. And that's what we try to do with these videos is, we usually do the ghost story. We usually do an NDE story. We usually do like an angel story.
And a lovely one we've got tonight.
Oh my gosh, Mike, I can't wait to start talking about this one because I've made so many notes on it. And especially now that we've got the lovely Katarina from New York on deck. I actually wrote down, when I looked at her video, I actually wrote down her email. I haven't had the chance because I've been so busy with all this other stuff that I'm trying to get done. But I've been meaning to email her and just say thank you because people don't say thank you enough. You know, when it's raining,
Kimberly
you go
just
outside.
did. There you go. Thank you, Kimberly.
I know. Oh,
So, but
oh,
yeah,
double chicken day.
you
Yeah,
know, as we go along, we develop this, and once again,
yeah,
if you've got an NDE or a deathbed vision or a story you want to tell, hopefully, as you watch the show, you'll become familiar with this and get confident and feel that you want to share this story, because
that's right.
since we have like regular listeners or viewers, it becomes part of a family, and so
Yes,
you can kind of feel safe within that environment, because one thing I want to assure people is everyone's free to express their opinion. And you know, Linda, for example, might say something is it's the real deal, this isn't a fake, and you might say this is a fake video. That's great, we don't mind
that's
that.
great.
It's just
Yeah,
we won't
we
put
don't
up with
mind it at all.
abusive behavior, that's all. So we try to keep this.
Yes.
And so if you do have this a deathbed vision or shared death vision or near death experience, all these words actually drive my wife crazy.
Angels, ghosts, spirits,
Yeah,
even if you've been abducted by an alien,
yeah.
okay?
Not
Put
recently,
it out there.
but
Yeah. Or you think you've got some transplant in, what do they call them, where people have little things in their arms
it's
and
called
noses and stuff?
it's called an Omicron, by the way. But that's a different subject altogether.
Oh, Mike.
You think I'm joking?
You
But
mean
okay.
moronic?
Yeah, yeah,
Moronic.
yeah, yeah. But we won't go there. We're trying to avoid this subject today.
Yes.
But we got some great stuff, and really, we really encourage you to express yourself. And I'm still trying to find a way that I can hook up a phone system so people can call in or leave a pre-recorded message, because we really want you to really get involved in this. So,
Yeah.
and if you're happy
Well,
just watching, that's great also.
Well, Mike, I think this is the first time, we've been doing this show every week now for over a year. And I don't know when it first started, okay? I don't keep dates. But at the end of the day, I think tonight's the first time where you've said that we're all a family. And how true is that?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are on the planet.
Yeah.
I'm in Australia, Mike's in Europe, and then we've got Katerina in America.
Yeah.
The AAA club, Austria, Australia, and America.
America.
But,
AAA, very good.
Where are you? Because you're near one of us, So please feel that, as I say, our bodies is only geography, but our energy is connected to everything.
Yeah.
So you're not that far away from us. So we are a family. We are a tribe.
Yeah.
We are connected all together. And at the end of the day, if you're on a vibration and you meet up with somebody else on the same frequency, like hopefully what we're finding here, if someone said to me 2 years ago, Mike, that I'd be talking to you every week doing a live show, I would have laughed in their face, seriously,
Yeah.
because it just seems so implausible for me at that time, with other stuff that I was doing 2 years ago, writing my books, etc. But now, and doing my PhD, of course, hello. But but now look at the I think it's trust. I think it does come down to trust, that people can watch us and they think, yep, I'm free to say whatever I like, and I'm not going to be judged for what I've said or who. Because the two words I've always said, for the last 3 years since I've come out of the closet. But,
so to speak.
Yeah, but since I've come out of the psychic closet, the two words that I love saying the most is I do not judge and I do not accuse, because I allow. And, that's something that a lot of people can't fathom that, because they do have to judge and accuse other people. And hello.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it means nothing to me if no one grows from it. But at the end of the day, if someone has and they say, Linda, thank you, or Mike, thank you, how good does it make us feel, Mike? Because we don't get charged. We don't pay for this service. No one live streams it through a device where you've got to pay for it. That's why I'm not on Gaia, by the way, because I don't feel people should pay per monthly to see me. I want to be approachable and transparent as much as I can. So kudos, guys, to whoever's watching us. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for being a part of our tribe and what we're trying to create
yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, we are just trying our
Mm.
best.
And actually,
Yeah.
before we go on to Katerina's news segment, one of the difficult things we're facing here in terms of consciousness is that, quite right, we got to find our tribe and be with our tribe. Unfortunately, for many people, their blood family, birth family, is not their tribe. And they have
No.
difficulty in accepting and letting go of that. And I just want to say to people,
Yes.
it's okay to retain your blood family if you feel you do, but it's important to be in a tribe of like-minded people, people that think the
Yes.
same of you, and just their family. Okay, if you want to feel like that, their family, and just accept it that they see things different, and don't put that emotional
Yeah.
attachment into it. Just go with your tribe. Me personally, I can let go of family quite easily, actually. So, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Should we?
Kimberly Smith is agreeing with us, darling.
Right.
Hello, Tracy and Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here, ladies.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it makes my heart just flutter in a little light. Do I have to get out the fairy wings again because I can see them here beside my camera?
It's
But
Red Bull
I
gives you
feel so
wings.
light and what's that word? It's like an energized.
Yeah.
You feel energized when you feel that it's like you start floating.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling, and that's what I love about our shows every week. I look forward to it so much, and then I sit there and I think, my God, I'm actually one of the people talking on this show. I think, wow, how the hell did that happen? Because I just, I'm still humbled by it, of course.
It's also got to be fun, educational, and fun. We
Yay!
can't take ourselves too serious with
Nah.
this, in that
Mate,
respect.
the day I take myself seriously is the day that I get old.
Yeah.
My body may age, but my mind will never, because as long as we're young at heart, young in mind, and we still have our little cheeky moments and our fun and our laughter, then our body is just a reflection of the gravity on this planet, unfortunately, and the telomeres that run through our genes. So at the end of the day, I tell myself every day, I'm young, I am beautiful. I don't care what everybody else thinks, because to me, I'm beautiful, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, is how I feel about me, and it should be the same about you too.
And as Don Miguel Ruiz says in his books, The Four Agreements, what other people think of you is actually none of your business.
That's right. Eleanor Roosevelt said it herself,
Oh, did she as well? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know who came along first, because I wasn't
Probably
alive
her,
back then.
I would think, yeah.
Probably her. She got pulled up because when she went into office, she was actually going around feeding the homeless, and she wanted to know how the homeless were dealing with poverty in America.
Heaven forbid someone do something like that.
Yeah. So the newspapers were attacking her with all this propaganda of how awful she was. Oh, my God, look at her. She's out there with a homeless man. So she actually posted a public notice that said, what others think of me is none of my business.
Right.
And what true words.
Yeah.
We're always going to get criticizers. There's always going to be those judgmental accusers out there holding on to their grudges and regrets of things that haven't gone right in their own lives.
Well,
don't put it into other people's lives, guys. Go and deal with yourself.
I'll let you into a little secret. If you're not being controversial or being criticised, you're not doing something right. Okay.
What did that guy say? Hang on, you've just reminded me of something. What was that? Oh, gosh. Some guy, about 10, 15, 20 years ago, he got, I don't know, he was in court for something, and he became famous because he was accused of all this stuff, right? And he actually made a statement on his whatever outlet that he was doing back then, and he said, any publicity is good publicity. So anyone talking about us, Mike, it's good, because it's promoting us, it's advertising us, and at the end of the day, it's all free.
Yeah.
Oh my God, isn't that awesome? So it's all any
All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, publicity, that's a
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity. Because then people sit there and they think, who was that? Remember O.J. Simpson?
Yeah,
See, we all know the
yeah, yeah.
name. But
And you know
before
what?
he did that thing,
I tell you what.
nobody knew who OJ was. He was just
Before
a bit part actor.
before we go on to Katerina, there's a lovely reverse. You know, there's this phenomenon called reverse speech, and when you reverse a certain section of O.J. Simpson,
David Oates.
yeah, David Oates. I did it. I killed them all.
That's right.
Very interesting. Yeah,
Yes, I know.
but listen.
But, before then he wasn't famous, so
No.
publicity of any kind is good. Thank you so much. Free advertising, Mike. Anyway, so we better get on to Katerina, mate, because we're already over 5 minutes late in the show.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go and watch her because I
Katerina.
love Katerina.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Caterina Campagna, and I'm here today with the Open Door News segment. You know, things that make you go, ah, oh, or simply, what the kidding me? So let's begin today with consciousness, and where exactly does it reside? Well, according to Mike the Headless Chicken, not really where you might expect. See, one evening in Colorado in April of 1945, a woman went out and cut the head off of a chicken for dinner later that evening. The only thing is, the chicken simply did not die. Even sans head, it would coo, balance, and feed off of little worms and water in an eyedropper that the family fed it. So every year in Colorado, there is a Mike the Headless Chicken Day. This chicken went on to live for 2 more years. So ask yourself, is that voice in your head really in your head? Now for our next story. What if you were parents in 1954 Switzerland and the child that you gave birth to and named Barbo Kaplan tells you that her real name is Anne Frank when she's only 3 years old, and she has repetitive nightmares of men in uniforms knocking down the doors, and she refuses to take a shower. She will only take a bath. Now, you might say the child might be disturbed, or will you? Because when her parents later on took her on a European vacation, they came across the very home that was Anne Frank's in Amsterdam. Now, when the child saw this house, she said to her parents promptly, "The stairs are in the wrong place." And she also said that she loved the photos on the walls. They were all her favorite film stars, but her parents saw no such photos on these bare walls. And now for a bit about the author of the book, The Keepers. His name is Jim Sparks, or at least that's what he calls himself now. He was abducted by aliens ever since 1989. And he said that he has spoken to them several times. He calls them reptoids. They are a mix between a snake and a lizard in appearance of the face, and they have muscular bodies that are over 12 feet tall. He says that they come in peace, however. They've had communication with our governments, and they came only to help us. They want to protect the earth from our contaminous ways and overpopulation. Check out his book, The Keepers, for more. Now for Shira Lumera Rejoice's story, a woman who in 2018 reports that she levitated off of her couch and she looks up to find the holographic image of an alien outlined in black staring at her. She was freezing, but she reports it was the most peaceful sleep she has ever had, and she feels that the aliens were there solely for the purpose of harvesting her eggs to make hybrid alien beings. You can follow her story on TikTok. Now, you can choose to believe it. She has been reporting these stories for a while, but there is no location. So it's up to you. Have other people around there reported UFOs? I don't know. That's why it's called the open door. And now for another story about outer space. What if humans were already there colonizing Mars? Have been for the last 15 years, according to Captain K. Of course, her name's been changed to protect her identity. She says that she even has people today working at NASA that could back up her story. She's had to defend these human colonies against certain hostile extraterrestrial races. Now she says that our governments are in alignment with China and Russia. That is the U.S. government. I'm in New York, as you all know. So there you have it. Maybe that's why Space Force came into effect. Maybe it's been there for 15 years already. Thank you, Captain K, for your bravery in coming forward with your claim. Now, that's it for this segment. And as always, stay curious, my friends.
There you go. So don't mess with Katerina. You see a fiery Sicilian side there at the beginning. So I've just got to try and get rid of this spam that's just decided to...
Yeah, I know. I just saw it too, Mike.
Which actually is a good thing because it shows we're getting somewhere with it. But there you are.
Well, that's exactly right.
You know
All
what?
publicity is good publicity.
Mike the Headless Chicken.
Any publicity. Not good.
I like Mike the Headless
Isn't it funny
Chicken.
we were just talking about...
And
but isn't it funny how I just mentioned that and now we've just got a spammer coming up?
Yeah.
Yay! I love it. Shows that we're getting our word out there, Mikey.
I'm going to try and delete that. Mike the Headless Chicken, not Mike the Headless Chicken. This spam that we got, but it's going to take me a bit of a while.
Do you want me to?
Because
yeah, well, you go do that, and I'll just start talking about my notes on this. Okay.
Yeah.
The first one, consciousness. You know, there's a lot of talk, there's been a lot of research, there's been a lot of scientific processes, etc. But at the end of the day, it's all a theory. Excuse me. It's only a theory as what part of our body contains our consciousness. Some say it's the crown chakra, some say it's our brain, some say our mind is within our heart. Mm-hmm. So where is the consciousness? I actually believe that our consciousness is our aura. It is a controversial theory, but you know, our aura goes from our feet to our head. So what part of that is, because, you know, in space, there is no space. In the universe, there is no space. So it's always been something of a debate. So if you do have a conscious if you have a theory about it, guys, please comment below, you know, because there's no wrong answers because it's all just theories, okay? That 1954 Switzerland girl, oh, my God, that gave me chills. Anne Frank. You know, there's so many reincarnation stories out there that it's to the point now where they just cannot dispute that we've had past lives. Yeah. So thank you to that girl. I hope that she's had a lovely life and she wasn't too traumatized by those memories that she had as Anne Frank back in World War II. The Keepers with John Sparks. Oh, my God. Reptoid with the 12-week tour. That reminded me instantly of the big alien that I saw out at the Samford Deer Sanctuary. He was taller than the toilet block, so he would have been about 12 foot tall, very slinky. Right. Very reptilian type, yeah, because he was tall and really skinny. So when he said that, I just got the chills about Jim Sparks. And the last one, Captain K. Isn't it the recolonization?
Captain Kirk.
Isn't it? No, Captain K, where they're talking about colonization of Mars. Yeah. Isn't it really the recolonization of Mars?
Yeah.
That's where we do that kabang, okay? Yeah. we need the little drum roll, the recolonization, because there's so much evidence on there. I watch these guys on YouTube. One that I really do love is Art Alien TV. They have like a US post box as Art Alien TV, and all he does all day is just looks at the rover photos from NASA, and he zooms in, and he's finding statues, he's finding buildings, he's finding all this stuff all lying around in ruins. So I don't like it when they say, hey, we're going to be the first people on Mars, because it's so out there now that we're not. Yeah, and oh yes, I've got her email address here because I want to email her as well. Oh, she needs it. She needs a little love moment from Linda. Well, she'll get that later tomorrow. Yeah, so what a great show from Katarina again, sorry. I love what she's putting together, Mike.
Yeah.
Look at our first couple of shows. We had no idea what we were really doing back then.
Still don't, actually, but anyway.
Do we know now what we're doing? But as long as we're getting the word out there, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
let's start off with our first one here. I think you gave me this one, Linda. This is about the dog chasing the cat, the ghost cat, or whatever.
They're dogs. They're not cats.
Oh, they're dogs. Okay.
I think.
Well, let's take a look.
I'm pretty sure they're dogs. Let's. What do you all think, guys? Are they cats or dogs? Okay. And do you think that one of them is a ghost? Come on.
Yeah.
Get the comments going.
Here we go. Let's run this. Here we go. Hard to tell, that one.
What? Whether they're dogs or cats, or whether one's alive and one's
not? Yeah, all of them. All of the above.
All the above. I saw that and I knew I had to send it over to you, Mike, because it's a talking point, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the video where I got it from, they said it was dogs. So your mind just thinks, yeah, they're dogs. But as soon as you just said cats, I was thinking, oh, my God, they could be cats.
Yeah.
But there is a point in there that I really like.
Uh-huh.
The not the black figure, because that's the one that we're presuming here is to be alive, right?
Yeah.
But the silhouette, that lightish dog or cat running around. There's a point where its eyes light up because of the IR camera.
Right.
IR means infrared camera. Right. That's what they're using, guys. That's their security film. So it shines in the nighttime so you can see what's going on in the darkness. It's called IR cameras. But there is a point in there where the white one turns around. You can actually see its eye light up because of the IR. Now, one thing, when I went out to Toowong in 2017 and I got that great photo of the ghost on those 3 photos, when I first saw them on my camera, there was actually 2 little white dots on my camera photos. And it was only when I gave it to Rick and I said, hey, mate, can you please find out what these little 2 white dots are? He's amplified it, and it's actually a reflection from his glasses.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
He's a ghost. So how can they reflect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was no flash used that night.
No.
So it's that distortion of technical devices that they can do.
Right.
I'm trying to debunk the science of it. That's why this book that I'm doing, Ghosts in Heaven, Ghosts and Spirits Exposed, that's why it's taken me so long, because I'm really going into the science and the psychology of why ghosts stay here. So, I look at like quantum physics and stuff and string theory. It does my head in some days, just trying to work out how these scientific processes work.
Right.
Pardon me. So, I believe that is a ghost, that white dog or cat running around, pardon me. I firmly believe it was a ghost. But other people might say, no, it's just a white dog, blah, blah, blah. But we all have our own opinions, guys, okay?
Paula disagrees with you, by the way. So,
yeah.
as
Both are
usual,
alive.
I'm going to sit on the fence with
well,
it.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Cat like dog.
Spirit.
Cat like dog. Yeah. Thank you, Joanne. Your book will be interesting. And Paula, thank you so much. You know, no one's got it right. No one has it right. And until the day when science definitively comes out and says this is how it happens, no one is wrong. Okay? So I'm really grateful for your feedback.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like an idiot for saying yes, it's real. Please don't feel like anything lesser than what you will do, okay? Because I don't want to call you an idiot, because I don't think you are, because you're saying your truth, you know? But at the end of the day, it's just good to see these videos, so then we do think about them. You know, what is it? How does it work? Because someone said the other day, I got a meme, trust the science. Trust the science. How much now in these days are we hearing trust the science? Someone said, no, that is further from the truth, because it's only when we question science is when science is discovered.
Follow the money is more accurate, but trust the science. No, we have to always look to dispute the current findings to continue the accuracy.
That's right, darling. Yeah. So let's get into another video, Dale, because we've got a few here tonight, and they're real great.
So this one here, just to give people the heads up, is called Lesuire horror, and this is the story that's France's equivalent to the Amityville horror. I've edited this quite a lot because it was quite a long story, but also it was quite creepy. And my intention is not for it to be creepy. Go on.
Yeah, I'll give people a spoiler alert. They've done a reenactment, and we're about to see things being flown around a house, apples being flown. Why apples, Mike? Anyway,
keep the doctor away.
It's your, come on, guys, comment what you think of this story, because this is a doozy. I like this one.
Yeah.
I'd go in there.
Yeah, I was thinking you would, but no, I don't think that's for me.
I'd probably go in with like my bulletproof vest or something on, so nothing flew into me and hurt me. You know, you go in with the bubble wrap, covered in bubble wrap, so nothing would hurt you.
Yeah. I mean,
because this is a good reenactment. I do like this one.
If I was there and it happened, I would deal with it, but I wouldn't deliberately go in there. I mean, as you can see, this guy here, one of the top exorcists, I mean, he's right into it. He is. There's no stopping this fella. But anyway, so let's have a look at this. But this isn't so bad. So here we go.
It was shortly after nightfall when the Dupreys heard a knock on their door. It surprised them because their house was isolated in the Norman countryside, and they rarely got unexpected visitors. When no one was at the door, it unnerved the Dupreys. They became more alarmed when they saw the front gate was still locked. Someone would have had to come through the gate to reach the door.
What's going on? Nothing.
They're not broken.
I don't understand.
But worse was to happen before the night was through. After they went to bed, the knocking started in the attic. They were certain someone was in their house.
What is it?
There's nothing. Come on, let's go to bed.
The knocks got louder, and Mrs. Duprey couldn't take it anymore. So the Dupreys, 2 brothers and a sister, joined the group.
It's moving by itself. Should we do? Oh my God!
No, it won't move.
Let's hope not.
Let's go.
When we went back up there, we saw the boards rising. They were in essence banging, just heaving. And then they closed the door to the bedroom, saying that we shouldn't go in that room anymore because really, we were really afraid.
More of the Dupre's family came to stay at the house, each new arrival skeptical until he arrived. The newer arrivals were treated to a bizarre flying apple show that left the entire family in shock and ready to move out. But the next time Mrs. Dupre's sister-in-law visited, an even stranger vision appeared.
One morning, I saw the image of a man exit the bedroom. He appeared before me in the hall. I was afraid, very, very afraid. He put his hand on the door of the bedroom and suddenly disappeared.
Nightmare, they turned to a locally renowned exorcist, Michel Royer.
When I arrived at Mr. and Mrs. Dupre's house, I immediately felt something very troubling. I had a very strong sense that there were forces inside the house trying to harm me. Spirits can be very powerful. They're very clever, very strong.
It's happening. The bed's moving again. When you lie down, it moves. It rises by itself.
With the three Dupre brothers looking on, Michel Royer seemed to summon a strength to quell whatever forces seemed to be inside the bed. Later that day, he performed an exorcism ritual in every room of the house. And the Dupre say they never again saw or heard any abnormal events in their home.
So what do you think, Linda? Do you think they disturbed something at some point? Because my experience is that it just doesn't suddenly happen randomly. Something disturbs whatever's there to make it react the way it did. What do you think?
Did they actually say? Did they say how long that couple had lived in the house?
I don't recall because I was busy banning Augustine al Ocho.
It's all good, darling.
but
it's always good to hit that ban button, isn't it?
My experience
anyway,
of my time in France, by the way, is that people either, pretty much like in Austria, they inherit the family house. So I'd imagine they've been there for all their life as it was handed down.
What I would suggest, okay, is either... there's a few options. First of all, they've relocated something in the house that didn't like being moved. It could have been an old cupboard, the bed, the chair, or something that they've moved that's got energy on it, and it just didn't like where they put it. And it started this whole paranormal thing happening. The next option is that someone actually came to the house who they're not telling us about.
Yeah.
There is a lot of scientific research now being done whereby adolescent teenagers between the age of 11 and 15, where they're going through puberty, they can be emitting electronic frequencies that creates paranormal experiences or poltergeists. So, that's one of the first things that we ask now as a paranormal investigator is, have you got any kids in this house aged between 10 and 15? And a lot of the times the answer is yes, because that's actually the person. So in this case, this couple, I don't know how we create bangs in our ceiling or things to fly around like apples. Why apples? That's what I actually wrote here. Why apples? What was its purpose of throwing apples around the house? Unless you talk to this entity, we don't know what their intention is. They might be saying, "Here, make me some apple pie. Make me some apple pie." We don't know, So exorcism to me is a last resort because it could be their parents, it could be one of their children that they've lost, it could be their loving neighbour just trying to get their attention to say, hi, I'm here. You know, so for me personally, exorcism is always the last option because it can be very traumatic to that entity being told to leave. You know, how would you feel if your kids are saying, hey, Mum, I don't want you to get out of my house? You know, here's your sage stick and here's the priest with his holy water. Get out of my house. I'd be pretty offended if my daughter said that to me, you know. So it can be very traumatic. So to me it has to be a last resort once you establish, you know, were they getting harmed there? Bangs in the ceiling, that's not harming them.
No.
You know, apples flying around the house, was it getting thrown deliberately at them to cause injury or harm? You know, so when I say I would go into these places, it's not just to take in my cameras like any other paranormal investigator. I want to sit with that entity and find out why they're angry. Or is it because they're frustrated because they're not being heard? You know, I openly say most ghost stories are a love story. There's always a reason why they stay, and it's generally because they love something so much better than their own destiny is why they stay. So, you know, that's why I would have gone in there, not to just get out my cameras and rely on what my technical devices detected, but to actually use my own inner abilities and try and work out why this person, entity or whatever, D word, which I don't like saying, then I would be running out of that house fast if it was one of them. But, you know, try and find out who it is.
Yeah.
You know, they might be upset.
Yeah.
You know?
On the other hand, Linda, it's kind of unacceptable to frighten the crap out of people living in the house as well.
Oh, of course.
You know?
But this is where I ask them, you know, if I had the chance to talk to that couple, I'd be saying, have you set the rules of your house? You're the owners here. Have you actually said, this is my house, these are the rules. Don't do this after 8 p.m. You know, don't go into that bedroom. Don't do this, don't do that. But you're allowed to do this, you're allowed to do that. You set those rules of what you allow. And it doesn't matter if you're the owner, the mortgagee, the renter, or any other tenant, as long as your name's on some sort of lease or paperwork to say that you are the lawful tenant, you are the owner of that property. You know, I openly admit I rent here, and I'm the lawful owner of this property. You know, the owner of this house, he doesn't really care about it. So, you know, he never comes here. So, you know, I'm the legal owner here. If you come into my house, because I'm the one paying the rent on it, you've got to abide by my rules. So that's the first thing I'd be saying to them. Have you actually spoken to this thing? Or did you just get so scared that you invite everybody else in to witness it? You know? Then you think about what have you done? You know, I'd be asking the questions, what have you changed around? Have you done any remodeling? Have you taken that cupboard up into the attic where it used to be down here in pole position that everyone used to admire it when they came to your house? Now it's up in the attic collecting dust. You know, there may be some sort of energy on that that's not happy with where it is now. So, you know, that's why I'd go in there, Mike, just to try and communicate. You know, it's not to gather the information and do a paranormal investigation. You know, I don't like going on paranormal investigations where it's just to get more thrills for people to watch. You know, I like finding out why they're there rather than what are they doing. You know what I mean? You know, so that's why I don't do paranormal investigations anymore. You know, I did my share. I did them for a few years, and they're only there to catch that reaction. You know, the apples flying through the air, because that's a reaction. Whereas I'm there to try and find out the root cause of why they're there. You know, and it can take a long time to find out why they're there, especially if they're only just popping in every couple of days. So you got to sit there for a couple of days to get them to come in through for like 5 seconds, you know. But it's all good. It's all good at the end, you know, because we all deal with things in our own way. Yeah.
I mean, the other question is, before we move on, is we're not told, did they dabble with something? Dabbling gets you into a lot of trouble. You know, so
well, Mike, you know, I just want to make a public service announcement. I do not dabble in the black arts. I will not. A lot of people have contacted me and said, "Hey, can you please put this hex on my ex-boyfriend?" I will not ever go into the dark side.
No.
I only use the white light and the loving energies of the universe. I know I've got the archangels on my back because I have seen them. People have been in my house and seen archangels in my dining room. Wow, what an honor that was. Yeah. So I know that they're working with me, and at the end of the day, I believe in karma. If you dabble in the black arts, you've got to be very, very careful. Look at Snow White.
Yeah.
Yes, let's just go there with Snow White. If you've watched Mirror Mirror, with what's her name, Julia, she was in Pretty Woman. Julia
Roberts.
Julia Roberts. If you look at that movie Mirror Mirror, that woman who, the witch, there was a lot of bad karma that came to her in the end. It does always catch up with you, and that's one reason why I just don't go there, because I respect it. It's not that I'm scared of it. I respect it, because I know that if you don't know what you're doing, it can lead to a lot of things, and that's why I don't do spells and stuff, But how do you know that they don't sit around with their candles and they're doing even seances on a Friday night thinking that it's fun? Because even a seance, you don't know who you're bringing through.
No.
The same as Ouija boards, and that's where I appreciate you, Mike, because you've got these controlled environments where you do your tipping, table tipping, and even though I haven't seen many videos of you doing that, I know that you know what you're doing there, because it's so respectful and what's the other word I'd say?
Well, that's the one thing I do know what I'm doing.
Well, that's right, you do, because I've seen a couple of your videos over the past year or so that we've been talking, and that's why I'm so committed to ensure that you and I keep doing this. I love our work that we're creating for other people to learn from. We're all on a learning curve at the end of the day. If we stop learning, we might as well just give up and go to heaven, at the end of the day, because every day is a learning day. Yeah.
All righty.
Good. So where are we going
We're
to
going to
next,
go
darling?
to Steve Jobs. It's only a short one. This is, I think we might have done this before, I'm not sure, but this is the deathbed vision of Steve Jobs. Somebody's explaining the deathbed vision of Steve Jobs. Joanne, I'll tell you exactly what table tipping is after this clip. So here we go. Let's listen to what he has to say about Steve Jobs.
Another case is the case of the Steve Jobs.
That's a fascinating case.
It's a very fascinating case.
Because it's within our lifetime.
Right. It's right up here. It's close to us.
Yeah.
When did he die? I think about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. In 2012 it might have been.
Yeah.
And his dying words were, and this is reported by his sister, who was right at the bedside, his sister Mona Thompson, a novelist. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. And Jobs was looking out across the room at something that of course nobody else could see. And there was this awesome kind of smile on his face, like, what is that? And we have every right to think that what he saw, and I'll say why in a minute, was a glimpse of the world that he was about to enter into. There are two types of deathbed visions. One of them is the vision of someone who has come to greet us and take us away and reassure us, the first type that we looked at. The second type, which we get a feeling for in the case of Mrs. B, remember how she sees, oh, lovely light. What she sees apparently is something like a beautiful world that has been transformed.
Well, she started initially to see darkness.
She did.
And she was afraid of the darkness.
And then it opened up into this beautiful, lovely lights. That's the way she put it. Along with wonderful beings. Those were her words. Lovely lights, wonderful beings. And so my suspicion is that Steve Jobs saw the same thing, something very similar to that. He was not describing someone who had come to greet him and to take him away. Probably what he was seeing was just the world in which he was about to enter.
The various accounts are that everything is more vital. The colors are more varied and more beautiful. The
That is
shapes, the sounds,
all of that.
The emotions are all intensified.
All the senses that we have, we take with us, but they're not the old senses. Our hearing, our seeing is something even better than that.
So, by the way, Jeff Mitchell, great show, New Thinking Aloud. Well worth taking the time to look through and see what stuff he's got on there that tickles your fancy, so to speak. But Deathbed Visions, Jeff, Steve Jobs. Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! What do you think?
Well, he could have been seeing anything, darling.
Yeah.
He could have been seeing departed relatives. He could have been seeing the field. He could have been seeing the tunnel. He could have been seeing the orbs. Yeah. You know, because in our next NDE, she's talking about the orbs. You know, there's a lot of things that could have been just making him go, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, wow. Yeah. Unless he started drawing or writing stuff down just before he died, that would be lovely. Yeah. You know? Yeah, but it's good that there are people out there now who are taking this seriously. You know, it's not just, oh, don't talk about that. You'll be seen as a cuckoo or a freak or something else, you know. People are now starting to take all this stuff seriously because so many people see it. Yeah.
So,
you know,
I mean, the thing that we don't know here is that before he said this, was he in a sleep-like state and then suddenly become lucid? Or was he lucid for a while and he started seeing this? We really don't know in depth the circumstance of this. But what we do know is we saw something that he saw something the physical eye couldn't see.
Yeah.
So
that's right, darling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, I hope when it's my time, I get to go. Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow!
Well, sweetie, you know, in my book, 5 Years in Heaven, I actually wrote about the 45 minutes where I was floating in the living room before I went to heaven. And what an honour just that part there was, where I was observing all the paramedics and the fireys and, well, they're the fire engine guys, and the sheriff came in and I saw a whole thing. If only they knew that I was actually floating there in the corner watching it all. You know, they weren't aware of that magnitude of paranormal right there in front of them.
Yeah.
So how do you know in Steve Jobs' situation or anyone else on their deathbed that the whole room turns into it because there is no space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, he could be there in that field of flowers, which I openly say now, you know, that's the landing part or the landing pit that we all go to, because how many people say, I was standing in this field of flowers?
Yeah.
And, you know, I had a joke with someone the other day and they said, I wonder if there's a big X on the ground, you know, that's the spot we all land on. Because it's almost like we all land on the same spot when we turn up in heaven, in this field of flowers. You know, standing there, can you see, oh, here comes another one, landing on this big black X. Funny. But, you know, I do like joking about it because to me it's natural, you know. And whatever he saw, it was obviously something that he hadn't experienced here on this planet.
Yeah.
And it was something that was so grand and euphoric. It wasn't like, oh, no. Oh, no. It was, oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was very inviting. It was calming. It was peace
Yeah.
that he was looking into. So that's great. You know, I'm so happy that he had a simple transition over, you know, because some people do go into black voids, other people do go into hell experiences, you know, because it's just what our perception makes, you know, and because I've been there, hello, if we're hanging on to grudges, we may create that hell through those grudges, you know. So that's why I teach what I do, Mike, you know, because I've been there and I know, you know, which way, where do you want to land, in the field of flowers or go into that big pit of volcanic ash type thing. But I'm just glad that Steve Jobs actually had that "oh wow" and not the "oh no" moment.
Well, when he's over the other side, which he is now, I hope he has to atone for the battery life of his products. That's all I'm going to say on that. But anyway, that's just my sense of
Yeah,
humour.
that's your sense of humour, darling. So let's keep going because it's already 8 o'clock, my darling.
Before
Where are we going to next?
We're going to go and see the NDE of the young girl Brooke. But before we do
Brooke
that,
Groves.
I just want to explain to Joanne what table tipping is. This
Yes.
is where you usually have about. Well, I can do it on my own now. I've got enough energy to do it. But a nice figure would be 3 or 4 people, and it's a round table, and usually it has 4 legs, and you'll understand why it has 4 legs. And you just put your hands on the table with the intention of connecting with spirit. And eventually the table will just rock backwards and forwards until it will start tipping. Bump, 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 bump. And
then it moves around the room.
It does with me anyway.
Because that's what I've seen in your videos, yeah.
And
so Joanne, let me just explain what I've seen Mike do. He lightly, like, I'll use my tissues as a table, okay? So imagine this is 4 legs, and this is the tabletop. So you just put your fingers lightly on the top, and then the table starts rocking, but it moves from legs to legs, so it moves all around the room like this, and it goes up to people as you ask it questions, okay? So is it designed just for spirits, Mike?
Yeah.
That come through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's designed for that, and you have to take it very seriously. And I prepare the table, I smudge it, and you've got to make sure that you haven't got somebody that's on depression drugs and things like this that's working with the table. Every Tuesday we do this, and every Tuesday we finish the session doing rescue work for those that are earthbound that want to get into the light. And sometimes we have children, and you can see the table like the child's on a rocking horse, and it's going ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And we have a candle there, and you'll see the candle flickering, and it's a beautiful thing. But you must know what you're doing with this. It's not like the Ouija board. And I tell people, do not go near that thing. The table tipping with somebody experienced, it's a wonderful experience because you get to speak with a loved one directly without the intervention of a medium. And you will feel spirit around you. Sometimes you might feel spirit touching your shoulder very gently, and it'll always be a loved one or someone like this. So it's a wonderful experience for people that they communicate directly, and for some reason their intuition knows exactly who it is that's with them at the moment. And sometimes if the lighting's right, you might see a spirit shadow across my face, or I might see it shadow across their face. The important thing, it's got to be done in truth and light with integrity, and not really it's not really designed for will I get this new job or anything like that. We do that sometimes, but it's really to bring loved ones in from spirit. So you'd love to see one. Okay, well, I'll arrange that for you, Kimberly. But I'll when I find a link.
How many times have we said we should just put a little video, obviously for privacy, etc., for the other people that are there, Mike, they've got to consent to it being on our show. But, maybe, I know that you have shown a video on here previously, so maybe it's time to do that again. Because that would have been about 10 odd months ago that you showed it on our show.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, so Joanne, next week, if Mike finds one, we'll have one on next week for you for table tipping.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, darling. So where are we going into now?
Okay, we're going
Brooke
to
Groves.
look at the young girl Brooke with her NDE.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this is just a wonderful girl. The delight on her face and the expression and everything is so joyful. And I'll give you my little 2 pence worth after about this. So here we go.
Good on you, darling.
In and out. I don't think I was fully comatose until I reached the hospital. I have no recollection of the helicopter ride or anything like that, but I do remember coming out of the body when I was in ICU. As I came out of the body, it's amazing, as you know, that we retain our consciousness. So even though I didn't have the physical body, I was very, like, it was almost funny because I was looking down in ICU and they're wearing yellow scrubs with purple gloves. And being from Los Angeles, I'm like, why is everyone in Lakers clothing? And then I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, am I dreaming about the X-Files? Because it like looked like this X-Files scene. They were working with me just with all this crazy protective gear. I just didn't know what to make sense of it. But then as I went up and up, it became less about what I was seeing and just that gravitational pull to the other side. I was making little jokes to myself and I was realizing I was myself, but I was completely happy. And I felt like this major weight had been lifted from me. Because I'd been ill for about 10 years at that point. As many experiencers talk about, I do believe it presents in a language you can understand. And having been heavily science-based before I went in, it was for me the most vibrant expression of the cosmos. It's like take NASA's photos and intensify the light to a point you cannot describe. You know, when I saw the source light, which was so different from the angelic light, you know, I had this like want to go right to it, you know, kind of thing. And they kind of held me back and had a conversation that I was given a choice. I know it's different from everybody, but it was, you know, you're here and you can stay here and you can go to that place, or you can go back. They kept talking about the work, my soul contract. That was like the focus of what the discussion was about. And that if I chose to stay, you know, I would ultimately return to fulfill that contract. And so it was made known to me that if I came back now, it would be extraordinarily difficult, except I could do it. And I had the strength to do it. And they were, of course, the way they communicated is so much more loving. And, you know, it's like I was being held. And for me, that was so important, given my background and the parents I chose in this incarnation, because I don't think I ever felt held until that moment. I spent quite a bit of time. Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? And they just held me, you know? And then I started looking back, like towards my body, which I didn't see. I was still in that cosmos space. There were these two lights that were very, very different than the angelic light and the source light. And they were like magnets to me. I was like, I want to go back there. But it was made known that if I go back there, that's the way back to the body. That's, you know, a connection to it. And so I guess I said yes in like a split second. I asked the angels, how do I get back? And they're like, follow the one light that's unlike all others. And that's when I saw this piercing light. And I opened my eyes and my back in my body, and there's a flashlight, the artificial light of the flashlight. Now I'd been declared brain dead. So my family had been read my last rites. My family expected me not to wake up. If I did wake up, they were told I'd be a vegetable and I wouldn't have, you know, cognitive functioning. So even though they were testing my vitals, no one thought I was in there. And so as I was panicking in ICU alone, still waiting to hear what happened to me, my third eye was very much awake. I was seeing auras at that point. I was seeing angels in other people's rooms because, you know, ICU has the glass walls. When they would call code blue or code red and someone would pass, I would see the soul body lift out. So I'm freaking out a bit. And I'm like, they must have gave me good drugs. I don't know what's going on. But then I'm like, you know what? Call in those beings. If it was real, they're going to show up. And so I did. I called on them. I asked for their help, and my room just lit up. I mean, they were no longer, you know, small. It was like they took up the whole hospital. And they really stayed with me and gave me the medicine I needed to sit through that time of unknowing and to really come to peace that this has happened, that things I didn't necessarily believe in before were real, and challenged everything and I thought I was.
So there we are. That was part of a larger interview that I had to edit.
What a beautiful personality that girl's got, you know?
Yeah, no, just looking at her
is
very capturing. She's so at one with the experience, you know.
Yeah.
you know, I just want to give you a couple of points that I made there, because the first thing was follow the light, unlike anything else. And I always have a little laugh and a smile to myself at Spirit, where they just can't say that one or that one, or do, you know, they always leave you some kind of cryptic thing for you to do.
It's like they talk in tongues and it's all old school, darling.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll find out why. But
You know?
the other two things is here, before I let you, because I know you've got quite a lot to say on this, that she would come back in a vegetative state. And I understand this, because they said this about my father. He never had an NDE. If they did, they didn't tell me. But he was in a coma for about 4 weeks, and they said, look, you know, if he manages to breathe on his own when they bring him out of the coma, the chances are he's going to be a vegetable. You'd have to dress him, wash him. And so we said, okay, because the hospital said, would you like us to ease him away slow? And I thought, holy shit, you know, you're talking about killing someone here who's clearly alive. Anyway, so no, we said we'll have him back, but suffice to say, they gave my father the last rites, but 6 months later he's there dancing New Year's Eve, and everyone's thinking, you know, well, this man should be a vegetable, and the priest who gave him the last rites dropped down dead.
Yes.
So, but the final thing, Linda, the contract, these contracts that we make, you know, here we go. What she's given herself a task, hasn't she? She can stay and be in peace, but ultimately you got to go back, or you got to go back, see it through, and be in a lot of pain. I mean, she's made a beautiful cross for herself there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll hand it to you.
Okay, this is not the first video tonight that we're going to look at about the life contract, because it's also in THERESA's, where she's saved by the angel. My great grandmother told me about life contracts when I was talking to her when I was up there. And excuse me, I've been talking all day again, guys. Sorry, so my voice is starting to go again. Life contracts are never plain and simple, okay? They're intricate. There's usually sub-clauses. There's out options, you know, where we can cancel our own contracts. It's not like it's all set in stone and it's just on one page. We may, you know, I said to someone the other day, we may have a life contract where we must show gratitude. So all your life, you'll go through your whole life never having to show gratitude. But then you'll be 98 years old, sitting in a wheelchair, in a retirement home, like aged care facility, and you'll have to show gratitude to the lady who's looking after you. So people often say to us, you know, oh, why am I here? What's my purpose? The very fact that you're still here, guys, is the fact that you're still on that purpose, because it may not have happened yet. Okay, it may not happen for another 3 or 5 decades. You know, how do we show generosity? You know, generosity is always not about money. It may be when you're 80 years old, you see an injured animal and you bring it in so it warms up next to your fire or your heater. You know, being generous to that animal, giving it comfort and support and warmth, rather than money. So our contracts are never pure, simple. They're never plain and simple. They're very complex, and it's usually they're made up of life lessons that we'll learn. You know, I talk about life lessons: compassion, understanding, forgiveness, and showing generosity, being kind. How do we love somebody else unless we love ourselves truly first? How can we be generous to someone else unless we're generous to ourselves first? So, you know, her story, Mike, it just resonated through me. Because even the orbs that she spoke about, that gravitational pull of magnetism, it is so weird. When you look at it, I look at moths now, and you know, you have a light out on the back deck, and you see these moths flying around it, and you think, oh, yeah, they're getting magnetized into the light. until you feel it, you can't understand it, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's like you get pulled without your consent. It's this pull that you just cannot control.
Sure.
And, you know, I say it like a ship has the magnetic pull, and it can pull structures into the ship. And it's beautiful. It's not a scary thing, this magnetic pull, when it happens, because it feels natural. Yeah. And it's only here in this little earth existence that we have where we can't fathom it, because we deliberately don't remember it in our past lives or when we were in heaven, you know. So, yeah, I'll give her credit, Dale. She was a great, great story.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. And the orbs, you know, I talk about the orbs in my book, 5 Years in Heaven. What the hell are they? Who are they? Where are they from? Hopefully, at some point in our future history, we'll find out these answers.
Yeah.
But until then, we just don't have to ask why. Sure. We just simply need to believe that they exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Super. So, the young girl THERESA had a experience where she was saved by an angel. You know, what happened to her didn't happen to me, obviously, but I have experienced what she experienced that saved her from her experience. So in other words, I have been touched, I say, by an angel on more than one occasion, physically, especially with table tipping. So I know the experience that she's going through. So we'll watch this, and then I want to hear you got some great stuff to say about this. Let's run this one.
Yeah.
For those who believe in angels, it is often said that sensations we might attribute to intuition actually come from an external source, that a sudden gut feeling instructing us to modify our course of action may actually be a message from an angelic being. Jackie Newcomb, a British author who has written extensively about angels and the afterlife, described in 2002 how she was approached by a lady named THERESA who claimed she had experienced just such a thing. It was the autumn of 1997, and THERESA was driving home along Canada's 401 highway after attending a night class. She stated that out of nowhere she felt a hand touch her right shoulder, which triggered a very clear vision. In the vision, THERESA witnessed herself lose control of her car. She saw the vehicle flip over and stood beside the ensuing accident scene. She saw the next day's newspaper and even attended her own funeral. In her words, "I saw far into the future and how my family's lives were affected by the tragedy." Shaken by the sudden vision, THERESA immediately turned off the music in her car and slowed her speed to about 80 kilometers. It was then that she heard a very loud bang and started to lose control of her car. THERESA described how she was able to pull to the side of the road, at which point it became clear her car had a problem. With no cell phone to call for help, she sat there in the dark and wondered what she should do. Yet, before she had a chance to do anything, a tow truck appeared. THERESA claimed that two very friendly and courteous men hopped out and helped her with her broken car. The men supposedly discovered 3 large holes in the driver's side tire. They explained that if she had been traveling any faster than she had been, she would have most likely flipped her car and been in a serious accident. After checking she was okay, the men towed her and her car to their garage and replaced the tire, only charging her half the cost. The men had seemingly appeared at the perfect time, saving THERESA from spending the night broken down on the side of the road. THERESA was convinced she had experienced divine assistance, not only because of the tow truck's appearance. Something happened that made her slow down, the hand on her shoulder, the ensuing vision. Without either, THERESA was certain her night, and perhaps even her life, would have ended very differently.
You know, interesting that in other experiences like this. We've seen a tow truck come out of nowhere and they actually disappear in the same way that they came. But this, in my opinion, clearly this was human. This wasn't, I don't believe the truck people were actually spirit, because they took them to their mechanic shop. But I think this is a case where angelic influences uses humans to be angels.
Of course it is.
So, but
that's right. And how many instances are we talking about here, Mike, where the angels make humans do their work for them? Yeah. That's what I believe too. But my biggest concern here is the tapping on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Because this one, who I've got with me, she has touched me on my shoulder. I was up at Grand Plaza one day, a few years ago, and I'm walking down. There was like 2 corridors coming off to the left and the right, so it was like a big cross. I could come into like the middle and go left, right, or keep going straight ahead. And as I got up there, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go to the left. And just as I started walking around the left corner, I get this tap on my shoulder. I've turned around and there's no one there. But then just as I stepped forward, there was something on the floor and I would have stepped on it.
Yeah.
If I hadn't done that to become aware of what I was about. Because I was just like, walking around the corner. And I went, oh, okay, now I'm really back into the awareness of it. I reckon she's tapped me on the shoulder a few times. I see her hand, it comes across in front of me. So I see the palm of her hand in front of my face. She's got longer fingers than me. I've seen her hand many times. So there's a big question, though, that still remains. Is this, now, the tow truck, I reckon you're right there. These are humans in the right time at the same right place doing that synchronicity of the work for the angels, okay? Thoroughly believe that in all of my experiences as well. But who was touching her on the shoulder? And how did she have that vision? So I would like to just give a little bit of clarity. Is this her angel? Is it a guardian angel? Is it her spirit guide? Or is it herself? Because this is something that a few people have.
Her higher
this is
self.
something her higher self. Yeah. Because this is what a couple of people have posted now that they're reading my book, Heaven, 5 Years in Heaven. Because I talk about this woman for about 6 pages. And I give examples of our interactions over the years. And people have actually emailed me and said, Linda, could she be my higher self? She doesn't identify herself. This lady, Theresa's lady that she had, didn't identify themselves. So unless they actually come down and say, hey, how are you going? High five me, I'm you. I'm 500 years past you, as a higher self, more evolved or enlightened being. Why don't they? Well, I know why they don't do it, because then we just look at the end result, so we don't go through all that journey to obtain that end result, which is even in my book where I talk about going out on boat trips for the journey and not the destination. So I don't really know who she is. The same as Theresa just said, she doesn't really know who it was. So the easiest way to explain it in layman's terms is to call them an angel. Because once we mention the word higher self, people quickly don't understand what we're actually on about. So if you don't mind, Mike, I would just like a minute. Our higher self is our conscious awareness. It's our enlightenment. It's our connection to the source, whereby we've learnt every other psychic ability that there is, and we know future events, we know past events, because everything is in now. We're very, very enlightened as our higher self. So if you do want to study how to connect with your higher self, there's a heaps of stuff out there on YouTube and Google. How do I connect with my higher self? What is my higher self? Okay, because here I am now as Linda, but my higher self is a very, very evolved consciousness. It's an awareness. It's
Agreed,
an energy frequency that is so far superior to what is now consciously in this body that's occupying the Linda life, okay? So people, just by what I just said then, I know that we're going to lose some people. They're not going to go, what is she on about? Because it, that's sort of the depths of where this person could be when we talk about our higher self, okay? So the easy way for people just to fathom it is to call this woman her angel.
Yeah.
Because it shows then that there's the THERESA and there's the angel, separation. But when we talk about THERESA and her higher self, there's no separation. It's actually THERESA. But she's operating on a higher frequency where she's obtained all these other abilities that come in. I don't like promoting scary movies, but the one to watch is actually called Lucy with Scarlett Johansson was in it, where it's a drug movie. There's a lot of gore in the beginning of it, but as her consciousness goes up from the 10% of our brain capacity and she starts learning more, I've experienced a lot of those things myself randomly without my control, where things can happen, like THERESA just said, this tunnel. I've experienced that tunnel where I'll sit out the back and I think, okay, it's 8:15 in the morning, and I go into this tunnel and I'm looking at all this stuff and I come out of it and I think, oh, yeah, I was in there for about 2 minutes, and I look at the clock and it's 10 to 9.
Yeah.
So it's 35 minutes have passed, but in this vision I've just had was only like 2 minutes. Because there's no time up there. So, that's one of the things that I have done a few times now, going into like this tunnel where you see stuff. Pity it's not lotto numbers. Anyway, because money's not important up there, is it?
And
no.
It's interesting, the name of that movie, Lucy, because it is, here we have again predictive programming or virtual signaling, whatever you want. But if we just can extend the name Lucy to something a little bit more, we find out the
fir tree on the end.
We get to know what's really going on there. But before we just show Kim Russo, the work of Kim Russo, I just want to say, you know, you was talking about the angel separate and yourself and the higher self as one. Well, when we extend this to the real big picture, the angel is us, as we are the angel, as the universe is us.
That's right, because everything is one. Everything is one. You know, if anyone does want a copy of my book, will I go there? Let's do it. Email me at linda@lindaray.info and I'll send you my book for free.
Without trying to win it this week.
No, only if you're watching live. If you're watching this 2 days after the broadcast, please don't bother. Okay? Because it's only as a benefit for those who watch us live. 369 pages of the 5 years I spent in heaven. Okay? I've even got photos in there of all my medical reports, the paramedics report where I was clinically dead for 14 minutes. It's all in there, guys. Heaps of drawings that I drew of the flowers, my life review. You know, it's all in there. So if you want it, just email me, linda@lindaray.info. Okay? And I'm happy to send it over. Just say, free copy of your book, please. And I just send it out to people. And okay? Because I'm not about the money myself. That's why I've got a fridge that's empty. Anyway, we've got to look at Kim Russo, darling, because time's coming away from us.
Kim Russo, for those who don't know, she does do a psychic investigation program. I think she's one of those people that I would say a little bit more grounded than a lot of the other psychic investigator people. But she's also, I think, happens to be a good medium. Doesn't look unlike THERESA Capuccio, who is getting absolute blasted from that Jim Parsons interview we done. And I just want to say, you know, one person made a comment, you know, surprised at Jim Parsons for believing in such nonsense, paraphrasing. And I just want to say, don't get confused between Jim Parsons the person and Sheldon Cooper the character. You know,
that's right.
Yes. And so when
it's so easy to stereotype, isn't it?
And so when I see a comment like that, I actually see somebody who hasn't actually thought about anything. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. For the record, I actually like THERESA Capuccio. I think she is the real deal. I just think the way she goes about it just rubs people up the wrong way.
Well, she can be a little bit in your face, can't she?
Yeah.
You know, she's bigger than life.
Yeah.
You know, and people feel intimidated by her.
Yeah.
You know, they might feel that she's condescending. Yeah. But at the end of the day, she is trying her best to bring awareness to people, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. So, let's go and have a look at Kim
Let's have a look at Kim Russo, and then we wrap this all up. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see who else's loved ones from the other side are trying to send a message to somebody either in the audience, the control room, anywhere.
Right. So what happens is I didn't expect to read you, but now I'm not sure really who this belongs to. But during the break, I kept getting a man that died by falling to his death. And he feels like he just had all these internal injuries. I feel like he did live maybe for a little bit, but then they had to, unfortunately, make a decision. Could this be for someone in the control room, or is it someone here? Is it here? Yeah? Okay. May I give you this? Sure. Thank you. Would you mind standing?
Sure.
Would you say that this is, based on what I said, it sounds like this?
Actually, yes.
Would you mind speaking?
We just lost him in December from a fall.
He fell to his passing. He lived a little bit.
In the hospital, yes.
Had internal injuries.
Yes.
It looks to me from what I'm being shown was an infection started to circulate in the blood. I'm not sure if they told you that. I just like to tell you what they show me.
There was some swelling that amplified, I couldn't control, and it got out of hand.
Is this an older male to you?
Yes.
Because that's what he looks like. Yeah. He didn't tell me the relationship. He feels a little bit removed. Would this be your father-in-law?
You're so close. Oh, my gosh. My best friend's father, who was like a surrogate father to me.
Didn't feel like your dad. It felt like once removed dad.
Oh, my gosh.
That's how they give their, and he's trying his best to tell me exactly what happened. Wow. And he's so happy to be able to get through to you.
Holy cow.
And he almost didn't. That's what he said. He said, I've been waiting. And it's, of course, you knew him, but you were the person that has to deliver the message back to the family.
Oh, yeah.
He keeps thanking you for what you did. You made phone calls. You got things, or you were able to read a document that somebody else couldn't do.
I did the readings at his mass, at his funeral.
Oh, that's what he means by the readings. No one wanted to do it or was able to do it?
Was able to do it, and...
Because he said, read, and he shows me paper.
Gosh, yes, oh my gosh.
It was kind words. He was there. He said, I didn't miss any of it. Now, there's one thing he wants to bring up, and that is the actual burial. He could care less. He wasn't about, like maybe even cremation, like just put me in a box and I'm not in that body. I didn't care. I didn't want them to spend the money, he said.
It's 100% spot on. He was cremated, and it was a joke about how, why waste the money, and...
He did not want them to waste the money on him.
That's exactly right.
Don't spend it on something else. He's so happy about that.
Oh, my gosh.
That they followed, because they tried to do more than what he needed. He said, I didn't go right away. I needed people to say goodbye to me. That makes sense?
Yes.
He allowed them to say their goodbyes. He did that even in his passing. He was thoughtful enough not to go suddenly, but to have to maybe through the night or a couple days.
Yeah.
He can't thank you enough. And he does consider you a daughter. Thank you.
Yeah, I love her delivery. Apart from the accuracy, the delivery is excellent. Especially, you know, where she said a decision had to be made, or you know, because she could have so easily said, like a lot of mediums, well, he's telling me that they decided to euthanize me or pull the switch, or would you understand they decided to let him, you know, die off peacefully. There were so many ways she could have said that, but to say a decision had to be made is very clear to everyone without the pain or the drama of being so explicit.
And
there.
the insensitivity.
Yeah.
You know? You know, why do you think I have tissues here with me every time, Mike? You know, when I do readings or people come to my house or whatever, I usually am the one who starts bawling.
Yeah.
You know, because it's I'm not ashamed to make it what's the word? You know, real.
Right. Yeah.
You know, some of these mediums, they get up there and it's because it's so blah blah blah, they do it every day. They've lost that compassion of the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas this lady hasn't lost that compassion, you know?
No, yeah.
She's still got that you know, that understanding of how that person would be feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like Kim. She was lovely.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of excerpts from the shows that she does, and I find her very pleasant to watch, very authentic to watch. Unlike THERESA, who's a bit more, as you say, in your face and drama, and she's much more grounded, and so that's nice. I actually like that. So well done.
Me
Kim.
too.
Yeah.
You know, I prefer a medium that, you know, says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you mind if I ask?" You know, just that little compassion side.
Yeah.
You know, I like the
when
compassionate
I've done
ones.
the Americans would call it gallery readings, we call it platform work, and you've got that audience there, then I often say, you know, look, speak to me after about it, or just give them the information that they know what I'm talking about without going into the great detail because of the sensitivity.
Yes.
So, and what I would also say is if people do go to a show like that she's on, then they should also expect what they get. So, you know, they shouldn't be surprised if a medium comes to them that they don't know and does splurt everything out there publicly. Because I worked on Blog Talk Radio doing a live call-in show for about 2 years. And actually a lot of these people didn't mind bearing their soul for all the world to hear, just as long as they got their message. So there's a kind of balance as well. But in a spiritual environment, in a church, it kind of divine service type of thing, yes, I think sensitivity is very, very important.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah, she was nice. I liked her.
That's the gospel according to Mike. So there we are.
And I say the gospel according to her.
Yeah.
You know? I love this woman that I've got with me, guys. You know, as I've just said, my book is called 5 Years in Heaven. I do talk about this woman with me. I've even got a picture that I drew of her when she appeared to me in the pool. I don't know who she is. I don't need to know who she is. That's the thing. I honestly don't care who she is. The fact that she's with me, the fact that she tells me accurate information, the fact that she's protected me and saved me so many times during my own life, it makes me absolutely enthralled to my core that the magnificence of this is that we all have someone like her. We all have her. Some people get to see them. Some people get to feel them by the touch on their shoulders. Some people dream of them. Some people get their messages like a feather floating from the sky. Doesn't matter how they communicate with us, guys. We don't have to, what's the word? Judge. Why does that person get more messages than me? We don't compare our signs, our messages. The fact is that when we start being intuitive, when we start opening up our third eye, we do our tapping exercises, which I've got on YouTube, by the way. You know, the more that we open up and we really look deep within us and show that love to everybody else, the more this veil disappears and we start to see, not with these, but we start to see from here. You know, and it's absolutely amazing what is happening around the planet now. So many people are waking up. So many people are now asking questions and wanting to know, is this hell? Is this end of it? Is there something past what's happening on the planet now? So you've just got to remember, guys, there is no time in space or the universe. What is happening now is concurrent to every other existence that we've ever had or will have. Okay? So just try and stay in the moment of awareness and enjoy this roller coaster. Look into yourself and say, what lessons can I possibly learn from this situation that I've been put into against my will or decision, okay? Because at the end of the day, guys, true colours are coming out. And I've said it for 2 years now, coming up in March. 2 years I've said this will bring out everybody's true colours. If you're nasty, you will be demonstrating your nastiness. If you're a nice, loving person, you will be given opportunities to demonstrate that to others.
Whether you like it or not.
Well, Mike, look at us tonight, you know, even with technical difficulties and other distractions or sabotages being faced to us, we're still out there getting the message out there. You know, we don't get paid for this, guys. We do it for the love of our work that we do, okay? If you don't like us, you can turn us off. But if you do like us, join in same bat time, same bat channel next week, because we're here every Wednesday.
I tell you what, Linda, I'd like to leave everyone with this thought. You mentioned that you don't have to see with these, you can see with this. Well, Mike the Headless Chicken, a humble chicken, has shown us that he can walk about and live quite happily without his head. And if you do get the opportunity to download the documentary Superhuman, well worth seeing it. You will see, and it's becoming more and more common now, and it isn't BS, it isn't hearsay, it's not even in the quantum science. It is provable fact that children are learning to see blindfolded, so that they are totally blindfolded. And not only are they just, when their people are putting up colour cards going blue, green, they are reading lines, chapter and verse from books, completely blindfolded. It seems that children can do it a little bit better than adults, but it's not impossible for adults. So do watch that documentary.
We learn, well, darling, the only reason why we lose it is because we're so conditioned by this three-dimensional world of society. You know, we don't get it taught to us in school. We don't get it taught to us in our jobs. We don't get taught to us by our parents or our friends or families. So, you know, children are born a blank slate, and it's only that sponge absorbs what this three-dimensional world has, you know. So, you know, I wish that I could go back in time 15 years to when I had Tashi. Now that I know all this stuff now, you know, about these experimentations that we could do. Geez, I would have tested her, you know. Not that I don't like talking about my daughter at all, okay? It's very private. But, you know, she like every other child, was probably very psychic when they were born. And we lose it. We tend to lose it. And it's generally through some accident or near-death experience or other angelic intervention, synchronicity where angels are involved in our lives, that people start waking up, and that's when we're unlocking those memories of what was been. Okay?
Super. A good way to finish, because I'm running late yet again, but
and
I'll
I've got to
be
go
on
and have
time.
my chamomile tea, darling. It's that time of the night. I've been talking since 6:15 this morning, darling, so that's 12, 15 hours non-stop. I haven't stopped talking for today.
Okay.
My voice says, you know, you wonder why I constantly cough or whatever, guys, because I don't stop talking all day. Okay? 6:15 this morning. It's now 8:15. No, 8:45 at night.
Yeah.
So that's about 15 hours today. I've been non-stop talking. I haven't stopped. Wow.
Yep. And I'm going to make myself something to eat and then march on. It's approaching midday here. So.
And as I said, guys, if you do like us, you're welcome back next week because, hello, we might even get some of Mike doing his table tipping, Joanne. So, come along and anyone's invited to watch us and hopefully you enjoy what we say. Okay? You're quite welcome to comment your feedback. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And if you do have
Bye-bye.
a video, any videos,
Yeah.
please send them to Mike or myself and we'll get you on the show. Easy. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.